So hello and welcome to 12 noon live. Another series defeat for the Indian team, and it looks like things are not going in their favor in any fashion. There's a batting collapse, bowlers are not picking up wickets, and a lot of questions to ask as regards to what has happened to Team India. This is the same team which was winning World Cups a few months back, but suddenly it looks like they can't register a single win. Beat Ireland, beat England. The only thing that they are doing is right now is losing. We'll talk about the match yesterday, last evening, and what happened, what is going wrong with the Indian team. What are the questions that we can ask as regards to this team performance? I'll start with Shamikta. Shamikta, what's happening with the Indian team? It looks like they can't even catch a breath right now.
Shubha, never mind. Then Zimbabwe next, all would be well. But that that is tongue firmly ensconced in cheek. On a serious note, I mean, being out of their comfort zone, the flat tracks in India, the IPL, where the ball was not bouncing above West. You go back to Vaibhav Suryavanshi six against Jasprit Bumrah in MI versus Rajasthan Royals games over wide long on, and Bumrah had a sheepish smile, had a wry smile rather, and this time the ball is bouncing a little more than the West. It's coming at a chest high, and it is coming at around 147, 150 kilometers per hour. So the degree of difficulty has increased. And being out of their comfort zone, they have failed miserably. Certain selection calls, you are saying that performance, you sometimes you have to go with the forms. Gautam Gambhir said after the game at Old Trafford, and that's why Sanju Samson was dropped. Then what about Tilak Verma? Tilak Verma has scored just four half centuries since September last year. In 29, and yesterday it was, I think, the 30th. In 30 T20Is, he has scored just four half centuries. The latest was against Ireland in the second T20I, but he was the only set batsman, and there also he failed to take the team over the line. You being a senior player, you expect someone, being the vice captain, you expect someone to do that. He didn't do that. So the form logic should apply to anyone. It shouldn't be cherry picked. It shouldn't be cherry picked that Sanju Samson is not doing this and he would be dropped. I will not say Vaibhav Suryabanshi's experiment has fallen flat on its face. Too early to judge. And he is still a young kid. He would learn. But this baptism by fire could be a blessing in disguise. Because in international cricket, you need to have a plan B. You can't play one dimensional cricket. I was so all combined collectively, the Indian teams, the batting, it is not good enough as per the conditions. They have failed to adapt to conditions. They have failed to play to situations. And you can give logic that this is a new team transition or all that, but the core, the World Cup core has been kept. I mean, it has remained intact. The World Cup core. If you look at the batting core, except Shreya Iyer in place of Surya Kumar Yadav, the batting core has remained intact. So that transition logic also doesn't apply. But maybe, just
The
maybe,
only two
India,
players who are missing right now is Hardik Pandya and Jasprit Bumrah. Apart from that,
just
it's the same team, same squad.
exactly, and Surya Kumar Yadav has been dropped. So the
Yes.
core, yeah, the core has remained intact. So the transition logic, like Test cricket, it doesn't apply here. But maybe, just maybe, India needed this hiding because it should help them to put things in perspective.
Hmm. Bharat, you have to analyze this series defeat. Of course, there's a lot of talking points, not only in the batting department but the bowling department as well. But at the same time, where do you think Indian team is lacking behind in this series? Is it just the IPL hangover of Indian pitches, flat decks, or do you think it is more than that?
See, I guess there are two, three layers attached to it. To start with, obviously, I talked about it yesterday as well that somewhere, India have to start landing those pull strokes, orthodox pull strokes, and cut strokes to counter those two tall fast bowlers, because they will keep bowling it short, they will keep bowling the hard length all the time if you can't counter it. See, I will start with Vaibhav Suryavanshi only. Obviously, he has great talent. I'm not trying to question it. But again, cleared the front leg, tried to smash it across the line against a ball that was kicking up a little more. See, in the world of IPL on Indian tracks, yes, Indian tracks has little less bounce. It might have gone for a six. The same Jofra Archer might have been smashed for a six. But here, there's a little more bounce. It's not like yesterday. There was trampoline bounce, steep bounce, but yes, there's a little more bounce, and that is where I think he was dismissed. If you look at how he played that particular shot, the hand or his hand came from a lower side and then it went up. Even if you go through a coaching manual on YouTube, it will tell you that your hands should be nice and high when you try to play pull stroke. Yes, you have to open up your hips and all that stuff they will say, but first of all, your hands have to be nice and high while trying to play pull stroke. So it again goes back to the point. A lot of these modern day batters, not just Indian batters, try to just clear the front leg, smash it across the line. Someone like Tilak Verma charged down the track and tried to slash it over point. That is another shot that a lot of Indian batters try. But again, when there's a little more bounce, they have to look at cuts and pulls. So I think that is where they can counter the English fast bowlers. Obviously, the series is over, but at least in the next series, because they're again going to get tall pace bowlers. Not at the They don't bowl at the pace of Tong or Archer, but Muzarbani, Nagarwa, and Brad Evans are all over 6 feet too. So they will get bounce. So India have to find ways to counter them. So that is one point. I think that's the main point. The other point, obviously, the bowlers again have not taken enough wickets in this series. You can say the same about the series against Ireland, but yesterday the pitch was the flattest, I believe, of the three matches that we have seen in England. Also, the two matches we have seen in Ireland, this was the flattest track of the lot, with just a hint of bounce. And in those conditions, if you get 158 runs, then I'm sorry to say it is not enough. So yeah, it can go back to the tracks in IPL. Some of the tracks are flat. It's not just about flat tracks. The boundaries are so short that so many top edges go for sixes. I remember that Bulanpur eliminated game between Rajasthan Royals and Sunrisers Hyderabad. Archer actually bowled two, three really good short deliveries, but one of the square boundaries seemed so short that all of them went for sixes. Yes, he took 3 wickets, but all of them went for sixes. So I think it also comes down to the kind of boundaries that you get in the world of IPL. Maybe it is for the administrators to just ensure that the boundaries are not so short. So yeah, I think combination of factors going forward, because the next T20 World Cup is not in India, it is in Australia, in the Southern Hemisphere. I think the Indian batters have to look at playing these horizontal bat shots, and it includes someone like Shivam Dubey was struggling against 125 km per hour short balls from Sam Curran. That didn't look really good yesterday.
Weber, what's your assessment of this series? Where did Indian team go wrong?
See, I think right from the start of the UK tour, one thing that hasn't gone in India's way is the way they have batted. Whether it was in Belfast, Durham, you can say that even after starting to even after losing starting wickets, a couple of wickets, they still managed to do well, posted 180 plus. But you look at the way they batted in Manchester, then in Nottingham, last game getting all out for 76, and last game as Bharat said, it was the flattest of the decks, and Shreyas Iyer said that it wasn't the perfect total. It was below par. It was below par, and look at the way Harry Brook and Phil Short batted. They showed that even if it was 230, 240, it could have been very much possible to chase. So batting has failed big time in this whole entire tour. Yes, you tried to do something different yesterday in Bristol, and before that you were trying to chase. Whenever India were winning the toss, they were opting to bowl first. They were trying to chase, but chasing hasn't gone well. They understood that. That's why after winning the toss, they opted to bat. Try to do something different, but again, when you are not fixing your basics, when you are not correcting your mistakes, what you have been doing in this entire tour, then it won't help whether you bat first or second. So I think batting has been a big letdown throughout the tour, and it's not just, you cannot pinpoint fingers on one or two batters. It's a combined failure of the entire batting lineup, coupled with the some of the questionable decisions. See, we have been questioning selectors' decision to omit Sanju Samson, but again, if the team management, yes, team management backs Sanju Samson, everybody is on the most of the people are on the same line, on the same page with team management that he should back Sanju Samson. If not in the playing 11, he should be in the squad. But team management has themselves they have come under the scanner in the last two games. So promoting Harshit Rana ahead of proper batters is something beyond logic. You cannot, you cannot defend anybody when you are taking those calls. I'm not sure who is taking those calls, but it's not defendable. Harshit Rana is not a genuine all-rounder. He hits the long ball, but again, if you have the proper batters who have won you matches in the past, those batters should be coming, especially when you are setting up a big total. Those proper batters should be coming. So I think questionable decision making has been one as again once has been big problem for Team India, not just team management. If it, I wrote a copy on shares this morning, you can go and read it on our website. Whether how many times that India were in a commanding position and it sort of stress allowed things to slip away. In Manchester, Arshdeep took couple of wickets in the single over. England were 1 for 2, and then they managed to post a good total. Similar sort of thing happened yesterday as well. Start you got a wicket of Josh Butler at the start, but then couldn't capitalize. It happened in Belfast as well. You remember in Ireland they were 51 for 4, and from that position they went on to score 180 plus, despite not having the best of the teams. And it is the same pattern that happened in the IPL as well with Shreyas Iyer, that a lot of times Punjab Kings were in a commanding position and they let things slip away. So I think questionable decision making from the team management, from the new captain again, hasn't gone well. Bowling, yes, you can say the overall bowling, it's a very inexperienced new bowling attack, so don't expect a lot. But again, somebody like Arshdeep Singh, when he's starting off really well, he's unable to keep that momentum going in his second spell. That rhythm, it doesn't look good in the second spell. So a lot of problems. It's a combined failure. Even fielding has been below par. Fielding has been a problem ever since the last trip to England last year. So I think the combined player, but more importantly, the decision making from the team management with respect to the playing 11 as well. Suryan Shedke, why he's not playing, it's beyond logic. When you know he's available, you are still backing a Washington Sundar, who is not a bowler or a complete batter in this format, who doesn't know what his role is in this team, in this format particularly. You are still playing him when you have a Varun Chakravarti. That's where the things go wrong. Yes, selectors are not showing enough faith in Ravi Bishnoi. That's why he's not being picked for the Zimbabwe tour. But if you have faith in Ravi Bishnoi, if you have picked for him for the Asian Games squad as well, if Varun Chakravarti is out as a like-to-like replacement, you will have a Ravi Bishnoi, a more attacking option. I'm not saying he would have won you the match, but when you know that Washington Sundar is not your 4 over bowler, he's not your proper batter. He doesn't have a role in this team. And why you are playing him again? Yesterday's 1 over reminded me that of that 1 over that he bowled in Belfast, 1 over 19 runs, similar figures. So these are the small moments where Indian team has allowed teams to capitalize, and at this level in this format, you cannot allow teams to capitalize or let things slip away. So I think that has been a problem. Whether it's Shreyas Iyer, team management, I think both should be held accountable on this regard.
Tamil, the one of Gautam Gambhir's genius move in the IPL is him making Sunil Narayan open for Kolkata Knight Riders, and it clicked for that franchisee. He got games consistently, and it happened under Gautam Gambhir only. After he left the franchisee, Narayan did not click, and again he was made to bat in the lower middle order. Things did not go well for KKR. Once again, when Gambhir came back as mentor, the first thing he did was bring Sunil Narayan back as an opener, and again things look pretty good for KKR. Has that moved somewhat, you know, is that move behind Harshit Rana also being promoted ahead of specialist batters, specialist finishers, uh, with the likes of Shivam Dubey there, Akshar Patel there, Washington Sundar there. He's batting all above them in the batting unit. Do you think that move is being forced upon Even if things are not clicking, I'm not going into Harshit Rana's batting credentials, but he has looked like a fish out of water in those particular role. If you take out that one innings in Melbourne, I think if I'm not wrong, if you take out one knock, he has looked completely like a fish out of water in that number six kind of a role.
Shivan, first thing is that as far as the IPL is concerned, you can make such experiments because you have the leeway of using an impact player. So you
Hmm.
have that cushion. In international cricket, you don't have that cushion. And I think this Harshit Rana thing is sort of out of desperation. Hardik Pandya is not there, and I mean, there is no other
You have a
all-rounder.
Suryan Shetty and you are not playing him in the 11, but
Exactly, exactly. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he is not inspiring confidence at the nets because they are having a close look. From afar, we cannot pass a judgment because maybe at the nets he is not inspiring confidence, and they are the best judge. Now the fact is that I think it's sort of out of desperation in the sense with Hardik Pandya not there, and you don't know when he will break down, given that he has a glass body. So India will have to do something. No one player can replace Hardik Pandya. You asked privately Shivam Dubey, and he will admit that Hardik is a completely different level as an all-rounder. So is Nitish Kumar Reddy. So I think Gautam Gambhir, what he is trying to do is to pair up, it is club two players to replace Hardik. Two players for Hardik, and that's why he is bringing on Nitish Rana, giving him a bit more batting time.
Harshit Rana.
It is Harshit Rana. So it is a bit out of desperation, and because that all-rounder covered is a bit bare. But there are certain things. There are certain things in the sense not everything is down to the team management. I can put a question mark over team selection also because you look at it, this thought process that if someone is on the wrong side of 30, if a player is on the wrong side of 30, he doesn't fit the bill. I think the selector should get out of that mindset. On any given day, Krunal Pandya, I think would be a better option than Washington Sundar in the shortest format. Krunal Pandya. Why is it not there? It is nothing to do with, I mean, something
Even Akshay
anti.
Patel for that matter, even Akshay Patel for
Exactly.
that matter is
Even
the kind of thing.
absolutely, totally agree. It is nothing to do with that the selectors or the team management or the setup they don't like RCB. It is because of the fact that Kunal is on the wrong side of 30. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, he was making the ball talk on placid Indian pitches during the IPL. He was making the ball talk, and given these conditions, I think he would have posed serious questions to the English batsman. But Bhuvaneshwar
But
Kumar is
Shankar,
still
none
not.
of these players are touching their 40s. They all are in early 30s. Should
That
that
is,
age be a barrier if they are performing
I
well?
don't
I
know, but
don't understand.
it feels like.
You have a 33-year-old playing in India A. Then why can't these 33, 34-year-old play for the senior men's team?
But it feels like because you look at the way they have phased out Mohammad Shami from Test cricket.
Then why are you playing
Why
a 33-year-old in India A where that place is for
exactly?
youngsters?
Yeah, that defies logic. But
When it
when
will come for that selection, I'm not naming the player. It is not fair on that particular player. But
exactly, I know.
when the time
Yeah,
for selection, men's senior team selection will come, they will say he's 33-year-old. We will try someone younger.
exactly. Rajat Patidar is not being picked because he is into his 30s. I mean, apparently, what we see on the face of it, this could be the only reason. This could be the only reason. We all know away from home, away from your comfort zone, away from when the ball is doing a bit, you need an anchor. You need an anchor. And who are your options? It could be Shubman Gill. For the timing, you are not taking him into the T20I setup. It could be Devdutt Padikkal or it could be Rajat Patidar. Rajat Patidar has that ability to bat long in the sense bat according to situation. But that he is into his 30s could be the only reason why he is not being picked. So there is a case of double standards, as you very rightly mentioned. India A, 33-year-old is playing for India A. There could be a case of double standards, but I think selectors should get out of this mindset that once you are in your 30s, you are done and dusted. This this should not be the case. Uh, I mean, in a couple of days, the ODI series will start, and you will see a player on the wrong side of 30, being India's best batsman.
And all those players at the wrong side of their 30s have already started preparing in
Hmm,
England for that ODI series. So that says a lot
exactly.
about their commitment also. They could have easily sat back on their couch and say, no, we are done, we are good, we are our legacy is there, so we'll bat according to our legacy and not by our hard work. But that's not the case. But
Shubhan,
Bharat, what's your
Shubhan, you know what is the difference between that set of players
Hmm.
who are on the wrong side of 30s and the current crop, the young Turks? It is about game awareness, and it is about
Yeah,
managing situations. It
very
is about managing situations. As Ravi Bhai used to say, you you don't get experience at a supermarket.
Very true, very true. Experiences, you cannot buy experience. There's a super chat also. Bhupendra Shinde is asking my simple question. When should we expect a win? Should BCCI arrange a match with Japan? Because it seems impossible to beat European team now. Serious question. Bharat, you want to take it? When should we expect to
No,
win?
I have no answer for that because I expected them to win in Bristol. As I noted, I think it was the flattest track. Even yesterday, I thought that this would be the flattest track on this tour itself. And on this track as well, India were thrashed. So I don't know. Maybe the last match, if England take a little bit of foot off the pedal. But yes, number one ranking is on the line. That is what Harry Brook also said. So maybe they won't rest any of their fast bowlers. But maybe India will win one game in this a particular series. As far as Japan is concerned, yeah, they have been improving steadily. Let me say that. Obviously, they're far away, far away from India standards. But they have been improving steadily in Asian cricket. I think they won one game last year in the qualifiers and World Cup qualifiers, Asian qualifiers. But obviously, they're far away. But I expect India to win one game at least in this series. Maybe it's the last game. And yes, but they shouldn't take Zimbabwe as well lightly because we are seeing that Zimbabwe have some tall fast bowlers out there, three, four of them, all well over 6 feet two. And if they get it right, if they take their chances, they have been dropping a lot of catches. At the Harare Sports Club, it may not be very easy. Although I expect India to come out on top in that series. Yeah, just that I think it comes down to execution. I don't think they will suddenly improve their cuts or pull shots in a day or two. I think it will take a little bit of time with this set of batters. It could also come down to the pace bowlers bowling a little better in terms of their execution. Again, I won't completely blame them for what happened in Bristol because in those conditions, if you're going to score only 158, then there's absolutely no pressure on the opposition. They just can scroll through to a victory, stroll through to a victory because there's not much in it in that pitch for the fast bowlers. So I think the onus will be on the Indian batters to counter England's two fast bowlers. Yes, people will tell that you need an anchor and all that stuff, but still in T20 cricket, you need to land your shots. You need to land the big shots. The big shots, when they're trying, they're not able to execute because I don't think currently they have the kind of shots required for conditions with a little more bounce.
Hmm. Let's see what kind of short course correction they'll do in the final T20. But last question to end this session, Vaibhav. What are the changes you are expecting in the last T20? I'm pretty sure now that the series is done, this is a very good opportunity to try players who have not played that many games in this particular tour.
Certainly, see, Suryan Shetty should come into the mix because again, that has been a big question that if not Hardik Pandey, if not Nitish Kumar Reddy, Shivam Dubey is there, so you will not take his name. But who is the another all rounder that you want to try, who is a part of your scheme of things, then certainly it's Suryan Shedge from India A to coming to Indian team and then making his debut. But I think he has not been given enough opportunities. I was expecting him to play in Nottingham because, as Rohit also said at that time, he batted and bowled for longer periods than usual because he has been seeing him practice since Belfast. But he said it was different because he batted for longer periods, he bowled for longer periods. So I was expecting him to play in Nottingham. That didn't happen. Yesterday was a good opportunity because you didn't had a Harshit Rana, Varun Chakravarti could have played Suryan Shedge was coming off a good form. If you look at his IPL and then for India in Sri Lanka, and he has evolved as a batter. Yes, he's still a Shivam Dube kind of a bowler that he's not a 4 over guaranteed bowler, but definitely as a batter, if you look at the only half century that he has scored in his IPL career so far, that came against a very well-rounded attack of Gujarat Titans when the team had already suffered a collapse. So from a collapse position, he scored a brisk half century of 25-26 balls, and then he showed that he has that game understanding, game awareness, which we are seeing in a lot of batters that seems to be lacking. So he has that. He has evolved as a batter. You look at the example of India A versus Sri Lanka A game when India were in desperate situation, but then he came and then forged a partnership with Vipraj Nigam to bail his team out of the troubled waters. So he has evolved as a batter. You have to give him opportunities because there are not a lot of seam bowling all rounders. He can definitely work on his bowling, but that will happen. He can only improve if he plays. Using him or seeing him minutes won't give you anything. And I don't understand. I will never understand this obsession with Washington Sundar when you know that he is not a 4 over bowler. There is no position for him in the batting lineup. Why you are playing him? Better play a Suryan Shedge, whom you have trusted in. Selectors have trusted him. So at least go with this. If not anything, at least give a go to Suryan Shedge. I don't think a lot of changes will happen because there are not a lot of players now. Because only Ravi Vishnu, I think, is there in the wings. Apart from that, there is no one. So Suryan Shedge should come in place of Washington Sundar. Rest remains the same. I don't think there will be much changes. If team management wants, because Zimbabwe after that they will be playing Zimbabwe, maybe a Sanju Samson in place of Ishan Kishan. That can also happen.
Let's see what changes will the Indian team make in the 50-20 as they look to avoid a clean sweep of the entire UK tour. At least they would want to finish this tour with one win under their belt. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Rohit and Amit will give you all the updates from the England tour, and of course, there's a one-off women's test match also starting today. So Trisha and Snehashish will give you updates regarding the same. Stay tuned to Rep Sports, like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more. Thank you and have a nice day.